thinking, John, how long has it been since you left? Was it 86, 80?
Well, you mean for France?
From Greystones, yeah.
Yeah, 88.
Okay. And was it something in your head that you said, okay, I want to be an artist, or was it just that?
No, I left Greystones in 1980, in fact. To go to art college, and then from there I went to Galway. My mother got me in.
Right.
I missed all the portfolios, all that kind of thing. So
God bless moms who could
stop. Somebody said, Googie said, don't quote me on that. I just saw it in a documentary. He said, in fact, the true heroes of Ireland were the mothers in the 1950s and 60s and 70s, how they fed their families.
And also, I think in many cases, certainly in Ireland, they would have just supported, that sort of move, because you couldn't do it alone. You didn't have the money, you didn't have the place to go.
There was no money there at all, really. No. So there wasn't. When you look at Eat the Peach today, the film, you realise these were grown men trying to do this thing, and they didn't have money for Risley papers.
Yes.
So I went to. When I left school, I spent a year kind of working here and there. Worked in Bray, worked in Coss. I was working in bars. Coaching horses, dug in.
And was the back of your mind the art thing, or did that evolve?
It was kind of going further and further away, but I was still drawing.
Right.
But all sorts of things happened to me that year, kind of up and down, and it was very difficult. Okay. So my mother kind of realised that, and she rang up Limerick and Galway and got me an interview at the beginning of September, when the schools were about to go back on the 20th. Right. My brother drove me down with Frank Gowan,
Yeah.
And we went down for a mad weekend. And I got in, I had an interview with Lachlan Hoare, his name is Lachlan Hoare, a sculptor, he'd lived in England.
What a name.
What a name, yeah. He had a daughter called Sonova.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. No. How do you spell the surname? H-O-R or something?
H-O-A-R-E.
Right. Oh, right, there you go. Yes,
tough as nails, and kind of like Brendan Behan, Ronnie Drew type character, and but a brilliant kind of man, a brilliant teacher, and he really affected my life. So I kind of learned to photography, painting, drawing, all these different kind of aspects that I've never done here.
And did you know then in college that
I knew you got the bug? Once by Christmas. Went to see U2 in 1980 with Owen Foyle.
All right.
Owen Foyle, great. He was one of my best buddies. We inseparable, So, and we lived together in Limerick actually. So a year later. So, by that Christmas, I knew what I wanted to do.
Right. And do you realise that it's tough though? Because any artist will tell you, you're starting off basically with a dream of like it might work out, rather than I can really definitely make money at this no matter what happens.
It's a dream, but we were looking at Monet and Van Gogh and all this, and we used to have these discussions about it, But no, it's a dream, but you don't think about that. You live the moment, kind of thing, I think if you're in a band like U2, if they hadn't made it, they might have become architects or engineers or whatever, running a bar or whatever,
Yeah.
So, but being an artist is a different thing. At the same time, most of the people I know that were in college with me, and even right up, very few are continuing or did continue, or they might continue maybe on kind of on a weekend kind of thing.
Sure.
They have families, they have this, they have that.
Did you ever have that fear? Did you ever think that's right? Because there is a wonderful. We'll certainly link to it now. But you've got Moments of Surrender and opening in Dublin. That's like 10 years of your work. But there's a real strong sense of who you are, that you are officially an artist. But I would imagine that takes a lot of time to get to that comfortable feeling. That
well, I tell you say that now. I'll put on my glasses. I got them like yours. No, I tell you now, I've never felt as today, or the last week, setting up the show, 8 or 9 guys working on that, getting it together, making sure it happened. All the works, the paintings have to be reframed by Emma, so we got them done in plexi boxes, perspex boxes, which I got done in the south of Paris with a guy I'd worked with for 30 years. So all that, and then the room had to be designed with all this pink plasterboard, which is in my film, and then we had to set up the film. They set up a monster of a screen, like unbelievable, like it's so beautiful. So it's like a painting, and then the projector, the whole installation. So it becomes an installation, the paintings, and there's a special light we worked up So we didn't know that would work. So it's been kind of a thing in my life, as you asked about fear.
Yeah.
You're kind of working on the edge. You don't know if it's going to, how it's going to happen. You're going to make compromises.
Yeah.
So we got it right till the last thing. The technician said, everybody out now. We put everything out, all the tools, all the drills, all the stuff. Clean up the place, and then set up the projector and see what the light is like for the paintings.
Yes.
Because Imma did buy the paintings, not the film. And this film came out of something which was, I was pushed by Christina Kennedy, the director of the collection, to make this film, finish it. And I had it put away for 6 years. I'd filmed it in Imma, I built the sets, filmed with a young actor who looks like Fassbender, a stand-up comedian, so we worked with him, and then I put
What's
the
his
stuff
name?
away.
What's the actor's?
Matthew Moore.
Okay, Matthew Moore, okay.
So yeah, and he worked with me night and day, and my kids were there. I was on a residency back in 2018 before COVID. So getting this right, the idea of the installation is not just a hanging or a display, but that you change and create an environment, and that we kind of recreated the sets that I built. With red curtains, kind of Lynchian red curtains, which is in this dream sequence. So, in a nutshell, after all that, it's kind of like a Brown O'Driscoll run there, you know.
But that must feel very satisfying.
So we got the light. We got the light at the last minute, and the film lights up the paintings as it moves along from darkness to light with a very filtered light up top, so we can see the film perfectly. And at the same time, there is this sort of kind of underground lighting, maybe, or feeling, maybe, that's kind of groove, you know, with the paintings, kind of thing. So it creates this. Not something in what's that place where it lights up, Grange,
New Grange. Yes.
Something kind of where light comes in, and so you have this moment kind of thing.
So does this? I don't know. This feels like a peak or a pinnacle or a sense of, well, this is a, you know, it's like the retrospective thing puts you in a frame of mind that, well, I've achieved all this. I should relax. I should be able to say,
well, a little bit.
This is who I am. This is what I do. Or is there always that sort of fear and hunger that
no, there is fear and hunger, but I'm kind of tired of that now. I'd like to sell some paintings. I'd like to buy a little flattened grey stones. You know, seriously. No, I'd like to. I am paint. I've developed a method of painting now from these works, and I've been painting. They were bought in 2021. So 75 of them, right?
Wow.
So, but I've been painting since, and I've done different things. But at the same time, I've kept this dystopian kind of, I suppose, coming from The Crash, the whole film that I made, and the work that I began in 2013 with Julie Labrocki, actually.
Right.
So, for a film, I decided to paint this work and write a novel.
Wow.
So that's going to be published in the next month.
Fantastic.
Yeah, all around the same material now. It's all the same story.
But that journey from you know, you're at college, you've got the hope and all that sort of thing, but the actual making of a career, I mean, did that creep up on you? Was that like day by day you put another brick in the wall?
Yeah. Another brick in the wall. And sometimes the brick was I was holding in the brick, and there was no food. So, but we had rice, you know, I love rice with a bit of butter. It took me 7 years when I moved to Paris. It took me 7 years to get out of an English world, expat thing, which I never really was in, but a little bit. And for my wife and myself to develop, to learn French, and to really, she went to school there, college, worked her way up in the advertising world as an art director, and became an editor, film editor. So actually far more successful than I am. So comes from a working class background in Limerick, Garryowen, like really solid, like working class.
And how did she take it when you admitted to her that you're an artist? Was she okay with that?
we were all
make and break in our relationship.
We were all under 25.
But that word is
I was
wonderful.
like, as John Joyce said about James Joyce, Nora Barnacle, she'll stick. So I was kind of like that. I was like a barnacle, you know. She had no choice.
I should jump back then to your time in Graysons and all that. Was the art from school? Was it from your family?
Yeah, a little bit from school. My family had an uncle who was a painter. People like Jim Fitzpatrick.
Of course,
you know, I did a lot of that. But I was drawing since the age of 8 or 9. So, but I wasn't. I knew I could do it. So almost like somebody who learns how to play golf and they're pretty good at it, and then they do it and they don't do it, or even playing rugby. You know, you got full of people who do it and are really brilliant and then stop or drift away from it, kind of thing.
You have to dedicate your life to it.
You have to dedicate your time to it. You know? So,
and did you consider at any point that, you know, that choice, that, you know, crossroads where you can follow what you really feel is great art, or you can be a commercial artist and paint the sugarloaf every week, or whatever it might be that sells and puts, you know,
there
food
were
on the
moments,
table?
in the 80s, I think I would have maybe settled a little bit for that, or I did a thing in Tokyo, the shop Tokyo, back in 86, I think, and they, you know, to show my work, kind of thing. The Curlin had just opened up at that moment, and I went in and I met Marion Gunn O'Connor, who went on to become a literary agent. Bertie Ahern's daughter's literary agent. You don't have to quote me on anything, but she was a very clever woman. So they hung my work every 3 months. They'd change it, and I had that up for about a year or two. And I'd get Alpha Domingi shirts and jackets and this kind of thing. You know? So, and my Mrs. too, Captain Hamlet. So no, they were really cool. But it was just a way to. The 80s was. This is 86. So difficult, you know. If to try to be an artist was just, it was kind of limited, you know.
Well, you're trying to make work for disco bars. It's not easy.
That kind of thing. I did that too. I did put stuff up in clubs in Limerick. Kind of thing, you know, they'd have a club night. Owen Foyle actually had a club night, and then put up all my stuff, kind of thing, you know. But you know, it was you're kind of shooting blanks basically. You know,
But was there a point then that you went the other way and realized it worked? Because that's the thing. Did it work?
Went to France, and that's where I focused on the work. I think learning the language was the key thing. Watching all the Alain Delon movies, key to watching, getting into Godard, you know, like which I had seen in college because we had film clubs. But so really getting into that and trying to understand that. Reading in French, reading philosophy, sociology in French, history of art only in French. When you make those decisions to kind of to do that, to make that changeover, then I started to meet French artists, and I was then starting to maybe show in French galleries. And at that moment, 97, 98, I had a one-man show in Dublin, and then I was beginning to show in Paris, let's say, in pretty cool galleries, interesting galleries, that is, don't say cool. So, so that kind of just built more and more confidence. I still had the problem of Ireland, you know, getting back to Ireland, getting people to. So I had artist friends that were here that just introduced me to key people here. You know? And from that, don't quote me on that, but from that, a lot of hustling. And it's 80% hustling, you know. 10% talent.
And the hope would be that as you establish like a reputation and you establish a name, the hustle isn't as hard because people sort of automatically know that you can do this and that there's an interest in what you're going to come up with next, and that must be a great luxury because it's a rarefied area. We've got a lot of artists in Greystones. They're currently, a lot of them are trying to open up an art centre here and all that, and it's a real struggle because it's just not. You know, commercially, it's just not a big, you know, obvious money spinner for anybody. So it's a love, it's a passion.
I think in a way, if you have to go away to do that. You know, if you want to, if it is a love and a passion, and you want to bring it further or be professional, you've got to. It's like Joyce or Beckett, especially Joyce. It's not that it's parochial, you know, but you have to move on and.
Does it give you
as they used to say about Charlie, my buddy's artist used to say, well, Charlie, he bought the Charlie shirts to hang out with the big boys, kind of thing. You know? So you kind of have to, if you want to do that and you want to kind of.
And is that for your own perspective or the people's perspective of you? Because if you're in another country, there's definitely, you know, a sense of this is somebody exotic or somebody who's not, you know, going to be the regular local artist. I don't know whether it's for your sake or for the sense of you just get treated differently for a start.
If you're living away.
If you're living away, yes. If you're in the country,
a little bit. Yeah, especially maybe Paris. A lot of people go, oh, Paris. They kind of see you as a Picasso.
But the French themselves would probably be happy that you're, you know, from Ireland and kind of a sense of that's a cultural, you know,
kind of
touchstone. So that therefore you're a different guy than Pierre down the road.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. But there's the only thing about France now. There's a lot of French people over there. Were you okay with that? There's an awful lot of French. We should say, how long is we'll mention the exhibition, we put the links in, but how long is it running for?
For a year.
Oh wow!
So it's in the exhibition Art as Agency,
right,
which is curated by Christina Kenny, the director of the collection. And IMMA are trying to really develop, as far as I can see, they're trying to develop art as not a political weapon, but can be used in the world as something. If you look at the French Connection in 1971, you look at T-Rex in 71. You know, I was down here in Evans's on a horses down at the place to listen to Hot Love with John Sweeney. You know, that carries weight. It carries kind of cultural power. It's stuff that just so there. You know, that art isn't something that just happens for a happy few. Kind of thing, that it has a larger impact on the world. Kind of thing. Yesterday I was up there for an hour, and the place was full. You know, so like on a Sunday, so people are going in there, and you know, visual art is the little cousin of the rest of the stuff you got.
And did you have your I'm John Lalor t-shirt on? I know you have one of those.
I just had feeling good. With a pair of Y fronts.
Just to wrap up, then you do hope then to sort of make it back to Ireland. You know, that'd be a dream too.
Oh,
like
I'd love a little cottage. You know what I've always loved would be a cottage beyond Kilcoon. Those fields on the sea.
Newcastle, all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's a very expensive area now, but you know, I'm sure a crash will come. We could take advantage.
No, this has become. Could we say that it's become Martha's Vineyard? This is
yeah.
I love saying it now. You know, it's like a
lot of wine around here, all right. Well, well done, and we'll put the links in, and we'll also give people your social media and all that just to follow. Obviously, you're always active, and you're always going to be evolving new stuff. So, well done, my son.